I also like look at nature for like signs as to how I live my life. And I see like how bees are bees and flowers are flowers and trees are just being trees. And it makes me feel like there's a frequency out there for them and they're in alignment with that frequency. But for whatever reason, human beings have lost that alignment. Like we lost the alignment to be in our natural frequency. And that's what I feel is the higher power.
You're listening to the Sex Addicts Recovery Podcast, a place for sex addicts to share their experiences of recovery to help break the stigma, myths, and misconceptions of sex addiction. This podcast may contain topics of sexuality, sexual trauma, dysfunction, or other things that may be triggering, so listener discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome to the Sex Addicts Recovery Podcast. My name is Jason, I'm a sex addict, and I am your podcast host. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 191 of the Sex Addicts Recovery Podcast. This week, I will be sharing a first step / experience, strength, and hope conversation that I had with our guest, N. So N approached me quite a few months ago to record her first step at the New Way of Life meeting on Zoom. Unfortunately, it is a noon meeting on the East Coast, which means out here on the West Coast, it's 9 a.m., which is at the beginning of my workday, and I was unable to attend the meeting. Also, we did not get the chance to ask the meeting if we could record the first step. And so we've tried for the past few months to find a time where we can record her first step. And being overwhelmed with a lot of other things on the podcast, it's taken me a while to finally find a spot to record. So when we finally had the chance to record, Anne couldn't find a copy of her first step, and so she basically gave a first step presentation without reading it from the page. She mentioned afterwards that she did leave a few things out, but is okay with it. After she finished, I just turned it into a regular experience, strength, and hope conversation where we got into the 3 circles and other parts of the step work that she has been working on. In her first step, she did talk about withdrawal. And so for the reading for this episode, I picked out the section on withdrawal from the Sex Addicts Anonymous Green Book, and this can be found on pages 66 and 67. I'm going to skip the first paragraph and jump down to the section on withdrawal. Many of us experience a period of intense emotional upheaval and physical discomfort when we stop our addictive sexual behaviors. We call this withdrawal. We may be assailed with powerful memories, feelings, and physical sensations. Other withdrawal symptoms can include intense mood swings, physical pain, anger, anxiety, depression, exhaustion, insomnia, nightmares, or acting out dreams. In withdrawal, we often feel a powerful urge to resume acting out in order to stop the discomfort. We may find ourselves repeatedly confronted with temptations to sabotage our recovery, or mysteriously drawn to new sexual behaviors that we never thought would interest us. Yet we know that if we act out again, we will only postpone or prolong the inevitable withdrawal. No one can go through withdrawal for us or take away all the pain. But we have the support of our sponsor and others in program to help us get through this. During withdrawal, we are advised to keep in regular contact with others through phone calls, meetings, and fellowship. We also need to be gentle with ourselves, honoring our needs for self-care, comfort, safety, nourishment, rest, exercise, and affirmation. If we experience withdrawal, we can be confident that it will not last forever. Many of us with long-term abstinence have gone through some form of withdrawal and have come out on the other side, often far healthier and happier than before going through it. We may continue to experience some form of withdrawal with each new level of surrender in our recovery. We have faith that our higher power is guiding us through this process and that we are cared for along the way. And I believe I've read this on the podcast before, but it was definitely part of N's share, and so I thought that that would be a great reading for this episode. I don't have much in the ways of feedback at the end of this episode. We'll see if anything comes in, and I may have a few other things to share at the end of this episode, so stay tuned for that. And now, without further ado, here is N delivering her first step and a conversation with me. I hope you enjoy it.
This does help people, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah, just the episode I just posted the other day, I got a text from someone wanting to get in touch with that guy to be a potential sponsor. And so,
Aw.
yeah, I get messages all the time. Hey, can you get me in contact with so and so? Or when one of my sponsees just started a 5-year prison sentence, and we did one recording about a week before he turned himself in, and the number of people that got so much out of that episode. I started getting emails from people, and I'm at a meeting, and people will mention, "Oh, this episode really touched me." Chip, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Chip did his first step on the podcast, and he's told me a number of times that he'll be at a meeting, and it's like, "Oh, hey, I heard your first step on the podcast. That really helped me." So yes, these do indeed help people around the world.
Yes, because that's what I was trying to tell myself. Because I was just like, "Why did you agree to this? Like, why? Why?" I'm like,
Yeah,
"Because it's supposed to. It's gonna help people. It's gonna help people."
definitely. So are you ready to go?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm super happy to have N here on the podcast. N reached out to me a few months ago to do a recording of her first step at a meeting. Unfortunately, it was one of those meetings where I was in the middle of my workday and could not make it there. It turns out on both of our ends, we didn't get the approval to do the recording at the meeting. Sometimes I can have people hit record and then just send me a link that I can use for the podcast. So we decided, since we missed it when you did your first step at the meeting, that we would just find a time here to record just you and me. And so, N, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Yeah. And so we were talking a little bit before the recording. We don't have a written first step to go off of. So you are just ready to riff off the top of your head?
Yes, off of memory.
Awesome. I will hand the floor over to you. And after you are done, I might have like a question or two, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay.
Okay. Just so I'm clear, about like 15-ish minutes.
Whatever it takes for you.
Okay.
I've had first steps that have been 10 minutes. I've had first steps. My own was like 45 minutes.
Okay.
So just whatever it takes for you to get all the information out, and we'll go from there.
Alrighty. So, I was the youngest of three, and my siblings were a lot older than me. My sister was about 7 years older than me, and my brother was 9 years older than me. We had different dads, so they had the same father, and I came later. And I guess early on, I started to compare myself because, like, their father was so much more prevalent in their life, or at least seemingly prevalent in their life. And mine was just like, you really didn't know. He would say he would come, and that didn't mean he was always going to come. And so that always already kind of started the false narrative of like, I'm not enough somehow. And, they have more. And also with them being so much older, everyone was so much older. And I would be left home alone a lot. And I'm not sure how it happened, but it happened. I found a porn tape. I was about 6 years old. So this is back during VHS times. I was allowed, if I was home alone, to watch certain movies, but the stipulation was to make sure to clean the VCR. And so there was this tape that we would use for that. And so I just grabbed the case, and it was just like automatically, I knew what to do. Take it out, put it in. But what popped up was not the movie. What popped up was this woman getting double penetrated, but it was a close-up. So I had no idea what I was looking at. And at first I thought, is this an alien? Like, I thought maybe this was like a sci-fi movie, But then it panned out, and what I saw was a woman being shown affection. I had no idea what I was looking at. but she was being hugged and kissed, you know? And so like for me, my little brain, I was like, oh, that interested me because I wasn't getting affection at home. It was a very aggressive household. My parents would get into physical altercations, and I was never told any like words of affirmations. It was very aggressive, very like sarcastic household and a passive aggressive household. And that was the nice version. So if everybody was getting along, that's what was happening. Now we weren't getting along. It was horrendous. So there wasn't there wasn't loving, there wasn't honey hugs or any of that. So as a little girl, I craved that deeply. And that's all I saw when I saw those movies. That's all I really saw. I had no idea that I was like watching people like having sex until like later on. But I would watch that movie occasionally. I knew it was wrong. Somehow something in me knew that what I was looking at was wrong, and I never said anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never said, hey, the tape to clean the VCR is not there. Like I never said anything. And occasionally I would watch it, and then, you know, through hanging out with other kids, you found Playboy magazines and all this stuff, and other things would happen. Like I would play house with my god sister, and things would be like rubbed on. We were never really naked, but they were kind of showing me like what I was actually watching. We were like pretending to do what I was watching. And in my mind, I started to already fantasize about growing up to be that, to be promiscuous, because that will mean the affection. So I already had an extremely distorted understanding of what affection really was. I just knew I craved it deeply, and it was just like already taking over my mindset at a really young age. Again, I would be left home alone a lot. So one of my playtime imaginary scenarios would be me sleeping with people and being just promiscuous. And it's interesting because I never really realized until I came into the program that that's what I would do as a little kid with my spare time. So as I grew up, it just became more porn. It just had to become more porn. And by the time I was 18, and again, I didn't know this at the time, but because being in recovery, I understand it now, but I was a full-blown addict by the time I was 18. And I was seeing somebody, I loved him, he loved me, but the addiction had me. And I had to break up with him so I could be promiscuous. The addiction convinced me that at 18, being in a serious relationship was a disservice to myself. I was too young to be in a committed relationship. That's what the addiction convinced me of. So I ended things with someone that I cared for and loved, and who honestly cared for me and loved me, so I could be promiscuous. And I did. I became that girl. I was 18, living on my own, because living with my mom was very stressful. She was putting a lot of pressure on me, and I just couldn't take it anymore. So I moved out. And so I had the opportunity to just be that person I've been fantasizing about for over 10 years by that time.
Mm.
And I put myself in a lot of danger. One night stands was really easy for me. I fantasized about it for so long that actually doing it, the danger of it didn't click in my brain. It just was like, we're living out our dreams. It was insane, completely insane. And I'm grateful that I never was raped, murdered, or trafficked, because I put myself in situations for that to happen. I ended up moving back home within a year. Obviously, my addiction had me irresponsible with money and all of that. I couldn't keep up with rent. Being 18 years old, living in New York City, it just caught up with me. I ended up getting evicted, and my mom helped me get all my stuff back. But moving back home didn't really stop my promiscuity, because then I would just stay at their place for the night.
Mm-hmm.
And just come home in the morning or whatever. ironically, while I was an active addict, I still accomplished a lot of my goals. Like, I became a sales rep in the fashion industry, which was a goal of mine. But the entire time, I was the promiscuous friend in the group. I was that girl. And it was no secret. That's who I was. The addiction made me unashamed, and it just grew and grew. And I would get into serious relationships occasionally, but they all stemmed from one night stands. I couldn't ever wait to have sex. I did that one time and we ended up dating, but come to find out, so we were already together for about 4 years at the time. We were doing long distance most of the time, but he had a girlfriend the entire time.
Hmm.
But when you're an addict, you know what I mean? Like you don't see the signs. You're toxic yourself, so you don't really see someone else being toxic. The signs were all there, but anyway, the way my addiction really took over for me is the fact that I never thought that this had any repercussions, that I can continue to have casual sex with strangers, people I just met, either via swiping on dating apps or literally because, again, this I'm from a time before Wi-Fi
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So we actually met in real life, right? So when I was in my 20s, we met in real life. We met at clubs, and, or at bars. And if I thought I would go home with you that night. And so that was for a long time. I would just like meet people and sleep with them. And I think the worst part, like how it kept growing and growing, was the fact that I felt like this had no repercussions, that what I was doing there was nothing wrong with that. And actually safe, because commitment means I have to put my heart out and I wasn't trying to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just safer. This lifestyle was just so much safer than commitment. But again, I would occasionally get into relationships that started off of one night stands. So the foundations were not very strong to sustain a meaningful relationships. And not to say that relationships that end are failed relationships, but most of my relationships ended badly because they started off in an extremely unhealthy way. All right, so that's like 20s. It kept escalating when I was in my 40s. I met someone who was, and this I met him on a dating app, and on his profile he said that he was in the lifestyle, and I was not sure what that meant, but I was intrigued because he had pictures of another woman in his profile, and so I was like, all right, well, it looks like they're in an open thing. I need to learn more. And so he was like my first experience with like polyamory.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that addicts are polyamorous, like all polyamorous people are addicts. I'm not saying that whatsoever. This was an interesting experience for me, though, because once again, it allowed me to just feel as though my behavior had no consequences. He and I started dating, and I knew he had a girlfriend. I thought she knew about me. But a couple of months in, she contacted me on Instagram and let me know. She was trying to make it seem like he and I were just a sex thing. At that time, he and I were a bit more than that. And so I was like really confused. Anyway, long story short, he had ended things with her because she had like gave him an ultimatum. And the fact that he chose me over her made me feel like, I don't know, it gave me all that validation, right? I've been seeking validation from outside sources since I was little because of how I felt neglected as a little girl and always seeking validation from my family members who were not giving me that, right? The words of affirmations were not there. And so I couldn't see that this man was emotionally unavailable. He was like an overrated friends with benefits. I couldn't see that. But at this time, I was kind of feeling like the casual sex thing, I was getting over that. I was becoming more like I wanted to just settle down. I was like ready to not necessarily get married or anything like that, but the revolving door, I was just like getting over that. But I was also joining these groups and getting together. Now I was no longer interacting with just one person. I was interacting with groups of people. It was like my appetite was just getting bigger and bigger. Like one person was no longer enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just, I needed more and more and more. And the excitement or the illusion of the excitement, going on these trips, meeting with these people, the voyeurism, the being watched, all of that. At the time, I thought like these are my people. I was like, this is my tribe. I found my tribe, and this is where I'm going to find my partner, right? Like this is where I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to find, because I'm ready to settle down. I'm in these groups thinking I'm ready to settle down and I'm going to find my partner in these circles. But I just kept, for lack of a better term, just being passed around. And I tried celibacy for the first time. So this is where it starts, right? As addicts, like we try to do it ourselves. We try to stop this behavior that we know somehow is no longer serving us. So we try to stop it without admitting that we have a problem. It's like we don't want to admit that we have a problem. We're just going to put this down for a little bit. So the first time I tried celibacy, it was because I read this book. Can I get book titles?
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was the Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. It's a great book. And reading that book, it helped me. I was like, you know what? I should try celibacy.
Mm-hmm.
Something just came to me that I should just try to focus on me and not focus on sexual escapades and who's paying attention to me. So I tried that. It took about 6 months before I went through withdrawals. I know that now. Like
Mm-hmm.
now, in hindsight, I realized that I had my first withdrawal experience at that time. And I met someone had introduced me to somebody, and he mentioned a trip to like a lifestyle,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a swingers type trip. And I agreed, and that was it. So I guess you could say I relapsed, right? Like unknowingly, I relapsed for about 6 months. Then I tried it again. I tried celibacy again, once again, about 6 months. And the anyone who has gone through withdrawals know the agony of it. And sometimes you give in because it's just too much. And I did. And at this time, it was really bad because I knew I wanted to stop having casual sex. And I met someone, they had just got a divorce, and sadly, my mind knew that he would be like what newly divorcee would say no to me. That's how I felt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I took advantage of someone who was in pain. Like in hindsight, I see that now. Like I only thought about myself. I didn't think about what he was going through. And at the moment, I just saw it as an opportunity. Like, how a lion goes after the babies and the weak. It's like
Yeah,
predators go after
yeah.
the weak. They don't go after the strong. And I saw his weakness and I took advantage of that. And within 2 weeks, he ended things stating, I'm uncomfortable with having casual sex.
Wow.
And that killed me because I wanted to abstain from having casual sex. So I tried it again.
Mm-hmm.
I tried it again. I felt really bad. Like I felt really bad because I knew I took advantage of him. And I also felt bad that I wanted to too. I was like, but I couldn't. I was uncomfortable with having casual sex as well. I was unaware that I could not stop. And so once again, I tried. And once again, around that 6 month mark, and I left my house and I had that mindset of like, find somebody just for the night, just to ease us for the
Mm-hmm.
night. Someone read my antennas and we started dating. We didn't sleep with each other that first night, but we started seeing each other rather for a couple of weeks, and it was this one night we were kissing, and then he was like, let's get a room. And I wanted to say no so badly because I knew I wanted to stop having casual sex with people, and I couldn't. It was shocking. It was like I was having an out of body experience
Mm-hmm.
because I couldn't believe that I was like walking with him and we were getting this hotel room, and now I'm going up the stairs and I'm just like, no, like inside my body, I'm just screaming, no, we don't want to do this. But I could not. I just couldn't say no. And he didn't call me, and that killed me. He did not call me, and I knew I was going to see him again. I broke a cardinal rule. It was somebody that goes to my gym, and I knew I was going to see him again, and it was bad. Anyway, and I was talking to my life coach, and I was expressing like the agony of like what I was feeling and how badly I didn't want to, and I don't know why I slept with him, and even though I didn't want to, and he said, you should probably go to an SAA meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whatever you say. I've been seeing this man. I've been seeing him for about 4 years. I mean, my life coach. Yeah, it was over 4 years at this time. And so I trust him. I trust him. So when he said that I should probably go to a sex addicts meeting, I couldn't fight him and say, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm not an addict. I couldn't fight him. I said, okay, maybe I do need a meeting. Okay, I'll give this a try. So we looked for a meeting. I knew for sure that I was going to go to an all women's meeting. So I found one. And within that first meeting, I knew I was in the right place.
Mm.
And I knew I had a problem that I could not control. And it really saved my life. It's been really hard. The road on to recovery has been really, really hard. But it's been a blessing because I've been able to do things that I couldn't ever do, considering I've been an addict since I was 18 and I'm now 45. I've only been in the meetings for about over a year now, so I was an addict for over 20 something years. Well, not really. I feel like it's had me ever since I was 6, ever since I saw that movie. It's had me. So it's pretty much had me the majority of my life. Coming to recovery has shown me that I have a whole new life to live, but it won't be easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of work. I equated a lot to just going to the gym, like when you go to the gym, if you're not feeling that pain, you're not doing anything. Like
Yeah.
you're not going to get any results without the pain. And so that's how I equate recovery. It's going to be painful, but it's going to be worth it. And ever since I've been coming to the meetings, I go to mixed meetings, but it took some time for me to be comfortable enough to do that. But now I come to meetings, I have a sponsor, I'm working on my 4th step now. I see actual changes
Mm-hmm.
that I never, ever, ever, ever could have imagined. So just to like give sobriety dates and stuff like that. Been coming to the meeting since January of 2025. I've been completely porn free for over a year now. So March 15th made it a year that I've been completely porn free. I had sobriety, like all sobriety, for 9 months. I relapsed once, and now I'm on 4 months of my restart.
Awesome.
I know that relapse is an unfortunate part of recovery, but it is a part of recovery. And so I learned from my relapse. I've learned from all my relapses once I
Mm-hmm.
knew that that's what they were. So once I knew that that I had relapsed 3 to 4 times for actually coming to a meeting. But one of the major changes is that I know I can't do this on my own. I depend deeply on the program. I know I can't do this on my own. And whenever my brain tries to tell me I don't need a meeting, I don't need recovery, I know I do. It's like that's the one thing that I can definitely just be like, yeah, I'm going to a meeting. I'm going to stick to my steps because I have been able to say no to a casual interaction, which I
Nice.
couldn't have done before. Someone I was dating ended things, and when we were discussing, I guess, I don't know, where we really stood, they brought that up that they were only interested in having like a friends with benefits type of situation. And I declined that option, which I would never have been able to do before coming to the meetings. And recently, I'm also like a validation, like, right, it's like
Hmm.
when you say all your I'm a love porn validation fantasy addict. That's what I say.
Nice.
And so one of my addictions is seeking validation from outside sources, and just being able to go out and not crave that, not crave someone flirting with me, or is anyone gonna offer to buy me a drink? That type of thought process I don't do anymore. I guess the person who isn't an addict can't really understand how these are like big deals.
Hmm.
Like I can go out and not really, I won't say all the time, but it's largely now that I don't seek validation. I said no to a one night stand, like a casual situation. Someone gave me their phone number and I wasn't being super flirty with them. So it's like these little gradual changes that I'm super grateful for, because if that is what I can do with just being in the beginning stages of step 4, I'm super excited for
Hmm.
what my life will look at by the time I get to step 12. And also the fact that I accomplished a lot of my goals as an active addict gives me hope as to what I can accomplish as a healthy, sexually sober person. Now that I'm going to have like better understanding of who I am and a more loving vibration within myself, I'm going to be able to really attract the right people and the right situations to live the life that I feel like I was supposed to live. Like
Hmm.
I always say this one last thing. I'm not sure if it was like the same year, but I had appendicitis when I was little. And so I don't know if it happened before the porn tape or after. I can't remember,
Hmm.
right? But I almost died with appendicitis. And a part of me was thinking, were those my only two options? Being a sex addict or dying at 6 years
Hmm.
old, right? Like, were these my only two options? And something, I don't know, this might sound a little weird, but if you think of like timelines and
Yeah.
alternate universes, like I believe in that stuff. So something was like, no, there's another timeline out there,
Mm.
and you just have to get in alignment with it. And so that's how I feel what recovery is doing for me. Recovery is putting me on a new timeline that already exists, that there's already a version of me out there, and I
Yeah.
just have to get in alignment with that. And I feel like these steps is going to get me to that timeline. I'm going
Yeah.
to connect with it. So yeah, it's a hard road. Any newcomers listening, please stick with the program. Relapse is a part of recovery. Withdrawals suck, but the only way past withdrawals is through withdrawals. So just
Hmm.
stick with it. Call somebody. Always call somebody, especially when your brain tells you no one wants to listen or no one's going to be available. There's somebody out there. Yeah, I guess that's all I have.
That was incredible. And just to be able to recite that off of your head rather than reading a first step off of a sheet, that's amazing. Before wrapping up this episode, I did want to have a little bit of back and forth before we close it out. Yeah, there's so much that I relate to being of the generation of videotapes and stuff. And I totally forgot about the cleaning VHS tape. Had one of those. And
Did you?
yeah. And I had discovered hardcore pornography. It wasn't until I was about in maybe sixth or seventh grade but kind of the Playboy magazines and stuff was early on for me, around 7 or 8 when I first discovered that. And throughout high school and college, you were talking about being known as the promiscuous one in your circle of friends. For me, I was the porn guy. And so I felt it was very normal. And you had mentioned being unashamed about it. And this was kind of where I was with porn usage and being able to talk about that sort of stuff. I felt I was completely liberated and open minded and stuff. And just,
Yeah,
I remember being at parties and always taking the conversations, no matter what it was, I would make it sexual and
I
just
would do that
finding,
too.
yeah, finding that way. And so, yeah, I heard a lot of similarities there. I myself was not a person in the lifestyle, but I became acquainted with people in the lifestyle. I became part of a throuple shortly after college, and they were part of a bulletin board system and had people that would go out. We never had like group interactions, but there were people that were swingers and stuff. And they introduced me to this woman. Our first date was a strip club, and she's my wife. We've been married for over 25 years now. But yeah, it was weird kind of being part of that scene. So like when you were talking about all that stuff, it's like a lot of those memories started coming back to me. So yeah, I really related to that. But yeah, your first step was amazing. So normally on the podcast, I usually start off with asking people about their circles. And being that we were just going to kind of record your first step, I didn't think about it when we started recording. So are you okay with talking about what's in your
Yeah.
inner, middle, and outer circles?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fine. Do you want to start with the
Uh,
inner circles?
yeah, yeah.
So I have on my inner circles, it's no sex outside of a relationship and no sex before emotional intimacy. Those are pretty much it. And no porn.
Hmm.
So those are like my absolute, we can never do those things. And then my middle circles, those are like a little bigger. Oh, I actually also have no dating apps on my inner circle as well. I know everyone's circles are different for them, but I know when I go on dating apps, it's because I'm shopping for people. I
Yeah.
just can't do that because my mindset becomes very much like just only thinking about a person's surface level stuff, and I that's not safe for me.
Hmm.
And then in my middle circles, oh wait, I also cannot go on those groups anymore. So also in my inner circles, those groups that I was in,
Yeah, yeah.
we were using like the Facebook messengers. So
Hmm.
like I can't go on those groups anymore. Like no more of those group chats, no one night stands, and oh, self degradation during masturbation and sex. So
Hmm.
because I had watched porn for so long, I couldn't really, like, my mindset was very, I had to degrade myself
Yeah, yeah,
in order to like reach the climax. And so
yeah.
I wanted to stop doing that as well. So learning to like be with myself and not degrade myself. So that's also in my inner circle. I can't think like that. If I was going to be with myself, I had to change how I think about that.
Hmm.
And so in my middle circles, I have getting lost in fantasy. So fantasy doesn't necessarily have to mean like thinking sexually about someone,
Hmm.
because I could just it's pretty much just not being in the present moment when I'm just like lost in thought and I can be obsessing about what someone could be thinking about me, or what I want to be doing and I'm not doing. It's just insane how much time I can waste just in my own head.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just thinking about stuff. So middle circles, getting lost in fantasy, obsessive thinking, not being present. I also have missing meetings consecutively. Again, just for the listener, this is no comparisons. I'm only
Hmm.
talking for myself, but I need a meeting every day. So if I'm missing more than 2 consecutive days, so if I'm going on day 3 now, of consecutively missing a meeting, that's a middle circle for me. That's
Mm-hmm.
like, what are you doing? Like, why do you think it's okay not to just like be in this atmosphere? Like, being in the atmosphere with other addicts keeps me grounded. Like, it
Yeah,
keeps
yeah.
me grounded in recovery because I give too much of my brain space that I'm normal, right? Like I'm just a normal person. It really can just take over. So I can't allow that. So I also have missing more than 2 consecutive days, overeating on sweets.
Mm.
So if I'm seeing myself eating cakes, cookies, stuff like that for like 4 days straight, I know there's a problem. These are all like, warning signs like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
something's bothering you. Figure out what's bothering you because you're about you're about to go into your inner circle. I also have consecutive drinking. At the moment though, I'm taking a complete break on drinking and
Wow.
I told myself a year, but who knows how I feel after that. I really feel like I don't want to give my addict any
And
tricks to
yeah,
try
yeah.
to, yeah, to try. It's okay. You can sleep with them, you
Mhm.
know? So
So
I just
just this
decided,
once.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just decided to take a little break from the drinking, see how I feel after a year. And the shopping, but that's hard to do, but it's like when I'm shopping outside of my own means and I'm not sticking within, that's another sign that like something's bothering me, figure it out
Hmm.
because you're getting really close. Did you want to hear my outer circles
Yes,
or
yes, definitely.
okay, so for my outer circles, I have working with my plants, a podcast. I love a good podcast.
Hmm.
I work out. I have poetry. I'm an artist. I work on my collages. I fellowship. Did I mention working on my plants?
Yeah, yeah. So,
Oh, okay.
what do you do with the plants?
Well, like I need to repot them. So like
Uh-huh.
I'm either gonna like repot them or I'm just like watering them and cutting all the dry leaves and stuff.
Hmm.
I propagate them if there are any that needs to be like propagated. My mom used to be like a plant person. I was never. I always like kind of killed them. So I'm doing pretty good. I'm really proud of myself. The last like 2 years, I've been growing my little plant family.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's nice because it takes discipline. I remember a couple of summers ago, our neighbors were going to be out of state for a couple of weeks, and then that couple of weeks turned into another couple of weeks. But they had given me instructions on watering their tomato plants, and so every day after work, I would just automatically get into this headspace of going over to take care of their tomatoes. And like when the tomatoes actually started coming out and ripening, and it's like, hey, this is something that I helped do. And
Yeah,
it was a nice reward. And yeah, when they got back, they gave me some of the tomatoes. So
that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, what else do I like to do? I need to add more to my outer circles, but that's pretty much it as of right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's solid. One of the reasons why I like asking people about their circles is because in this program, it's not all uniform. And I like to get a diverse range of what people's inner circle behaviors are. A lot of times it's pretty much the same, but occasionally little ones here and there. It's like, oh yeah, I never thought about that, and that
Oh, another
could be
one I really
interesting.
like to do. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I like to watch stand up because I
Oh
feel
yeah.
laughter
Hmm.
really helps. And one thing I like about with the outer circles, I like keeping it simple, right?
Hmm.
Just like because I think a lot of the time as addicts, we're just like, this is so hard, this is so hard. But little simple things do help. And if your mindset is just in a negative mindset or you really feel like acting out, I mean, watching a comedian, like watching the stand
Hmm.
up, it's easy to find. There's a ton on YouTube and you can get lost in that.
Yeah, yeah.
We used to spend hours doing other nonsense. So at least
Hmm.
this way, it's like it's just helping you stay out of it. I do like to watch stand up as my outer circle.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I have several comedy albums, and even though I know the punchlines and stuff, I still love revisiting those. George Carlin, I've got a ton. God, Mitch Hedberg, I was grateful to be able to see him live before he passed. And just I've gone out to comedy clubs and stuff, but yeah, I have a few favorites that I watch on Netflix and on YouTube, and yeah, it's a great way to spend time.
Yeah, I think so.
So before we close it out, one of the things I really loved at the end of what your main first step in talking was the timeline. You readjusting the timeline. So my sponsor, like I came into the program as an agnostic atheist and had a real difficulty with the God steps. But looking at step three, he talked about aligning my will with God's will. And so the way you described it kind of opened up something for me. Just like there's this
Great.
timeline that's over here, and I had been living in this complete other timeline. And what is it going to take to align to get myself on that path? And that is, pretty much like my higher powers plan for me. And how do I get there? And just those little micro steps that pull us towards that alternate timeline. And so, like when you're describing it, it's like, oh man, that really clicks for me. So I really
That's
thank you for
awesome.
that. Yeah.
With you mentioning that are you still an agnostic?
No. My sense of a higher power is more of an energy source.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I knew I was not going to be going the church route or
Mm-hmm.
organized religion.
Mm-hmm.
I do pull in stuff from all sorts of religions, mostly Buddhist stuff. So I do some Buddhist 12-step recovery meetings and things like that. But when it came time for me to working step two, the two connection points, and I first saw them as my higher power, and now I think about them as my connection points to this energy source is
Mm-hmm.
nature and music. Those are the things that get me in touch with something greater than myself.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the energy of, I won't say a crowd, but just large sums of people, I guess. I was lucky enough to attend a meeting here in the Bay Area where pre-pandemic we used to have over 100 people in the room. And at the end of the meeting, all holding hands and reciting the Serenity Prayer, I felt an energy in the room. Similarly, when I go to concerts and all of us are in this same state of being that
Mm-hmm.
I can feel it, and it's like, okay, I'm no longer this individual. I'm part of this vast collective. So those were kind of ways for me to open up about me not being the center of the universe. So, and it got me over the hump for steps two and three, and enabled me to kind of migrate through the rest of the steps.
Well, I want to share one more thing with you
Sure,
then,
please.
because I've always believed in a higher power, right? In the sense of like I know there's something more than just us, right? And like
Mm,
whatever created this whole entire thing called life, right? Like the universe, the black holes, like all of that just completely blows my mind. And I don't see like that being entity that created all this as something that is picking and choosing like for us, like you did good today. So here's your
mm,
blessings for today. Oh, nobody didn't like what you did. Oh, you're gonna have to change that. Oh,
mm,
yeah, I didn't like what you did there. So no blessings for you today. That's not how I see it. I also like look at nature for like signs as to how
mm,
I can live my life. And I see like how bees are bees and flowers are flowers and trees are just being trees. And it makes me feel like there's a frequency out there for them and they're
mm,
in alignment with that frequency. But for whatever reason, human beings have lost that alignment. Like we
mm,
lost the alignment to be in our natural frequency. And that's what I feel is the higher power when I get into that frequency. And I'm just like naturally what I was supposed to be on. Like there's a frequency out in the universe that I could only connect to. Like, you know how you connect to your Wi Fi and it's like
mm,
you look for your Wi Fi connection? Like
mm,
there is a connection that only I can connect to. And in order for me to get there, I must like forget who I am. And that's
mm,
where like
mm,
that third step, right? It's like that third step of like relieve me of the bondage of self
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just am like, yeah, let me forget all those pains that I think are who I am, all those resentments, all the anger that I want to hold on to, all of the I want to be liked, all of that. Let it go and let me just like be me
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and whatever that's going to be. And it pushes me to do things, volunteer to do this podcast. It
Mm-hmm.
pulls me to do things that I know, like that I normally wouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes from like my heart, like I could feel it. Like my brain would be like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. But then my heart is being like, no, let's do it. And so
Mm-hmm.
that is for me when I'm in alignment with my frequency, when I listen to my heart instead of my head. And that has been a game changer for me. But it's a daily thing. I wish it only had to happen once, right? Like, oh, I did it once.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so now it's like automatic. Every day I'm just in alignment. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
I have to consciously get myself there. But I see it as me getting into like frequency. And that for me is higher power, that
Mm-hmm.
getting into that alignment. And I'm just in my natural flow. Because when you look at nature, you see that animals, they're not having the greatest time,
Mm-hmm.
like they're not. But everything's okay. Bears aren't jumping off cliffs because life got hard for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're just sticking with being a bear. And I think that as we're in frequency, we can handle the bad stuff without feeling like we need to jump off of the cliff. Like we're feeling
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, why am I being punished? Why is this happening to me? But through the program with the steps and understanding that I could be in alignment and also things not be ideal, but that's okay. Because nature shows me that
Mm-hmm.
things aren't always going to be ideal. That's my spiel.
That is awesome. Yeah, that's a great way to close it out. Was there anything else you wished to add?
No, I
Okay.
think that's it.
All right. Well, I thank you so much for joining me on this and really glad that you reached out and we were able to do this. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and I hope this helps anyone. Bye.
Bye. Many, many thanks to Anne for sharing her first step here on the podcast and reaching out. I'm so glad that we did get the chance to have a conversation after her first step. Had we recorded this at the New Way of Life meeting, we would just have that recording. But as you can tell from the clip that I chose at the beginning of this episode, I really loved the conversation that we had around higher power. I had forgotten to mention at the beginning of this episode that previous guest, Chip, who did his first step on episode 69, is part of the New Way of Life meeting and is the one who introduced me and N. And again, really grateful that we did not record at that meeting and had the chance for this conversation. At the beginning of this episode, I did mention that we didn't get much feedback this week to share here on the podcast. But as I'm recording, we did receive a new email. So we did get a YouTube comment and the email, both about episode 190 with Joseph N. So I wanted to read those here. And the YouTube comment was just real quick. We did hear from this person before, and it says, thanks with the heart emoji, blessings from the Baltics. And so grateful that our message is getting out there to the Baltic states. Awesome. For the email that came in, it says, hi, Jay here. I'm just listening to your podcast episode 190 with Joseph N. I was released from prison 2 weeks ago, and I'm struggling with both addiction and job reentry. I heard Joseph mention job reentry on your podcast, so I thought I'd reach out. I'm from Southern California, and I'm hoping Joseph can recommend some organizations that can help me here. Additionally, I'm having trouble finding suitable Zoom meetings, so I was wondering if you could help me find some. And yes, I did reach out to this emailer. I sent out my usual list of daily Zoom meetings, starting off with the New Way of Life meeting, the Houston Noon Zoom meeting, the daily men's and non-binary Zoom meeting, which is the one that I talk about on the podcast a lot, and we refer to that as the Noon Zoom meeting, the Miami Zoom meeting, and the SAA West Side Zoom meetings. And so again, all of those are daily meetings that happen throughout the day. So I send out this list for people that I'm unsure of what their schedule is. So since they are all daily meetings and they meet at different times throughout the day, most people can find time to get into one of these meetings. So I have sent out this list to a few people that have emailed me through the Bay Area SAA.org website looking for Zoom meetings, as well as some podcast listeners. Additionally, I did forward this email on to Joseph, who is going to see what he can do to help out with some organizations looking at job reentry from prisoners just released. So thank you so much for reaching out. So I wanted to do something a little bit different on this episode. In my conversation with N, we did talk about stand-up comedy, whether watching it on YouTube or Netflix or other streaming services, listening to old comedy albums, or going out and seeing stand-up comedy live. I've had experiences with all of those and thought I would take out this episode with a little bit of comedy. I have been fortunate enough to see George Carlin live several times. I mentioned that in our conversation. A lot of the comedy that I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to be playing clips because of the nature of it, whether it may be triggering for various audience members, I don't know. But I'm going to try to stick to some easier clips to listen to. But George Carlin is just an awesome wordsmith. A lot of people know him for his 7 dirty words you can't say on TV, many of which now are able to be on TV, but it's still such a great routine.
Yeah, there are 400,000 words in the English language, and there are 7 of them you can't say on television. What a ratio that is. 399,993 to 7. They must really be bad. They'd have to be outrageous to be separated from a group that large. All of you over here, you 7. Bad words. That's what they told us they were, remember? That's a bad word. No bad words, bad thoughts, bad intentions, and words. You know the 7, don't you, that you can't say on television? Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits, huh? Those are the heavy 7. Those are the ones that'll infect your soul, curve your spine, and keep the country from winning the war. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. Wow. And tits doesn't even belong on the list, you know?
He's got some other great bits where he's able to focus on the crafting of words. So if I find one suitable, I may play a clip here on the podcast.
This is called advertising lullaby, keeping in mind, of course, that the whole purpose of advertising is to lull you to sleep. Quality, value, style, service, selection, convenience, economy, savings, performance, experience, hospitality, low rates, friendly service, name brands, easy terms, affordable prices, money-back guarantee, free installation. Free admission, free appraisal, free alterations, free delivery, free estimates, free home trial, and free parking. No cash, no problem, no kidding. No fuss, no muss, no risk, no obligation, no red tape, no down payment, no entry fee, no hidden charges, no purchase necessary, no one will call on you, no payments or interest till September. But limited time only, though, so act now, order today, send no money, offer good while supplies last, 2 to a customer, each item sold separately, batteries not included, mileage may vary, all sales are final, allow 6 weeks for delivery, some items not available, some assembly required, some restrictions may apply. So come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Thank you. So come on in for a free demonstration and a free consultation with our friendly professional staff. Our experienced and knowledgeable sales representatives will help you make a selection that's just right for you and just right for your budget. And say, don't forget to pick up your free gift, a classic, deluxe, custom, designer, luxury, prestige, high quality, premium, select, gourmet pocket pencil sharpener. Yours for the asking, no purchase necessary. It's our way of saying thank you.
Most of his other material, like the end of this bit, some people may find offensive, whether he's talking about sex, race, religion, or politics. So trying to find a couple of clips here for the podcast was a little bit of a chore. The other comedian that I talked about was Mitch Hedberg, and I was fortunate enough to see him before he passed away in 2005. He did die of a drug overdose and was very sorry to hear that. But he had such a unique way of speaking, and the cadence of his words just made his absurd thoughts even funnier. So I don't know how many of you know his comedy, but I did want to play a couple of clips. So here is Mitch Hedberg.
They say the recipe for Sprite is lemon and lime, but I tried to make it at home. There's more to it than they act. Want some more homemade Sprite? Not till you figure out what the fuck else is in it. I like refried beans. That's why I want to try fried beans, because maybe they're just as good and we're wasting time. You don't have to fry them again after all. I fucking hate arrows, man. They try to tell me which direction to go. It's like, fuck you, I ain't going that way. Line with 2/3 of a triangle on the end. Imagine being killed by a bow and arrow. That would suck. An arrow killed you? They would never solve the crime. Look at that dead guy. Let's go that way. I like to hold the microphone cord like this. I'll pinch it together, then I'll let it go, then you hear a whole bunch of jokes at once. There's a commercial on late night TV for this thing you attach to a garden hose. It says, you can water your hard-to-reach plants with this product. Who the fuck would make their plants hard to reach? That seems so very mean. I know you need water, but I'm gonna make you hard to reach. I will throw water at you. Hopefully they'll invent a product before you shrivel and die. Think like a cactus. Says you can have this product for 4 easy payments of $19.95. I would like to have a product that was available for 3 easy payments and 1 fucking complicated payment. We can tell you which payment it is, but one of these payments is gonna be a bitch. The mailman will get shot to death, the envelope will not seal, and the stamp will be in the wrong denomination. Good luck, fucker. That last payment must be made in wampum. As a comedian, you have to start the show strong and you have to end the show strong. Those are the 2 key elements. You can't be like pancakes, all exciting at first, but then by the end, you're fucking sick of them.
I've got a couple of his albums, some recordings of him on David Letterman and Conan O'Brien. He was such a funny individual, and I was deeply saddened when we lost him. But again, grateful to see him live. Another comedian that I got to see before he passed away was Sam Kinison, and I'm not going to be playing any of his clips here on the podcast. But yeah, I was grateful to see him when I was in high school. So I've got a lot of comedy albums from Patton Oswalt, David Cross, Brian Posehn. I did want to play a short clip from Brian Posehn. Many people will probably recognize him. I know he's been on The Big Bang Theory. He's got a unique voice that, he's done a lot of voiceover work for animated features. But he's a huge sci-fi and horror nerd. He was in the Rob Zombie movie, The Devil's Rejects. Anyway, just kind of a tall, goofy-looking guy with glasses, and now he's got a big beard. He's just recently on the newest Electric Callboy video. He's a huge metalhead and has done a number of appearances on videos with Mr. Bungle, Anthrax, Mastodon, and stuff. But on one of his comedy albums, he talked about being a metalhead. So I'm going to play a very short clip because it goes off the wall from there. But here is Brian Posehn.
So, metalhead, I mentioned. Any other metalheads here? Yeah. There's always that guy. Yeah! Metalheads are awesome because they have like this amount of passion for their music that no other music fans have. Like, we're so crazy for our music. Like, you never see like a guy with his shirt off going fucking R&B. You know? Easy listening, homo, throwing up the E, easy listening. A guy jumping up on Michael Bolton's on stage and fucking going, yeah! Never see that.
Before Brian moved to LA, he lived here in the Bay Area in the North Bay, and I've seen him at some metal shows. So Brian did a tour called The Comedians of Comedy with him, Patton Oswalt, Zach Galifianakis, and Maria Bamford. And Maria, I've loved her comedy for years. Very out there, and she suffers from pure OCD, which involves disturbing intrusive thoughts. And I've heard her speak about that on the Mental Illness Happy Hour podcast, which I've talked about that podcast here before.
How's everybody feeling? And people are feeling horrible. I mean, their answers aren't going to change from day to day. Like, it's like, sometime life, it's just suffering, You just feel, it's not good, and you think, is it going to get better? And it doesn't. Anyways, how you doing, Alice? How you doing?
Well, there's a television in my head, and sometimes I hear it. I'm trying to turn it off.
Well, how are you feeling, though, Alice?
Well, I'm worried that the Russian militia is coming over the hill.
I know that, but Alice, how you feeling?
I'm pretty good. Like, so...
But yeah, she's got her regular voice, her crazy voice, her mom's voice, and just various voices that she does, and always makes me laugh. She was on After Midnight with Taylor Tomlinson, and I'll talk about her later. But just any appearance, she's always just has me rolling. So I'll probably play a clip of Maria Bamford.
I was a bit of a dark kid. I'd occasionally stage my own death for fun. Mother, I've taken a whole bottle of pills.
Oh my God, what did you take?
Tums.
Maria, those are your father's.
What, Mother? I can't hear you. The calcium is coursing through my veins. My husband and I love being a part of a cult, and we are a small marriage. It is a certain belief system, and we found out over the quarantine that we have a hobby in common, and we both developed at the same age in life, around 10 years old, he in Philadelphia, me in Duluth, Minnesota, and that pastime is longing for death. Suicidal ideation, it does eat the clock. It creates an arc to the weekend. I don't recommend it, trying to replace it with book clubs. There's a lot of healthcare memes out there that say, hey, ask for help. Hey, you, tell somebody. Hey, you with the schizoaffective disorder and the ongoing trauma, take a walk. Anyways, lower the bar to accessing mental health care. Call anybody. I called Hertz Rent-A-Car, South Pasadena, California. I told this woman what was going on. She said, all I can do is lease you a car. But before hanging up on me, she did say, I do believe every human life has value. You take care. Have you ever looked around your life and thought, uh-oh. This isn't temporary. This may in fact be who I am. I like to think of myself as a sophisticate. I get the New York Times and their 10 free articles a month. But it's also true that I was recently on a Southwest Airlines flight, middle seat. I just spilled my Diet Coke all over myself and my 2 new friends. And I looked down and I was wearing an outfit that I purchased entirely earlier that day at a San Antonio, Texas CVS. Hook'em horns, tee, Aztec print, poly legging, open toe, shower shoe. I'd like to think that's a one-off. But that's gonna happen again. I enjoy a last-minute fashion binge at a regional drugstore.
One of the other most bizarre comedians I've ever seen live is named Bob Rubin. The Rube. I got to know Bob Rubin through the Alex Bennett Show. It was a radio program here in the Bay Area. And so I did have the chance to see him live a number of times, but just always just completely bonkers. Even on the Alex Bennett Show, he was just such a huge riot. One of the times I had seen him, he opened with a 10-minute diatribe about how he was not to be confused with being a hammock. It's just one of those absurd thoughts, and he just ran with it. Very stream of conscious, very rapid fire. It's been really hard finding clips of him online, but I did find a few over the past week. I think I've got a clip that I can play here on the podcast, but this dude was just absolutely crazy.
Oh, lighten up, everybody. The old Rube's here. What a great crowd. Is Big Jim here? Big Jim. Bigger than all cattle. Do you know him? No, you can't miss this guy. Is he here yet? Well, you recognize him. Well, everybody's going around town calling Big Jim. Bigger than all cattle. Do you know him? No, you can't miss this guy. Is he here yet? Well, you recognize him because he's Phil. Everybody's going around town calling Big Jim. Bigger than all cattle. Wait a minute. You ever been walking down the street and you see a big guy before you figure he's pretty big because just this part of his forehead's blocking out the sun. Then you say, hold on there, mister. Now you start thinking about all the cattle in the world just like I have my entire life, and you realize, whoa, there's a ton of cattle. Some off the side of the road, there's some in your meat locker. Howard has some, there's some in Spain. Even that cattle in India is just sitting there getting fat, eating pizza, drinking beer, playing pool, renting out patio apartments, and nobody will cut them up for good eating because you're wearing yarmulkes, and you look at them and go, wow, you're bigger than all cattle. You must be Big Jim. Do you know him? Oh, you missed this guy. Is he here yet? Well, you'll recognize him. He's eating meat. Ever have a piece of meat in front of you? It's not cooked right. You're not that hungry. You're staring at it. Sooner or later, you can't help but daydream. Ooh. Wonder what it would be like if I took this piece of meat, several other pieces of meat, and I started making my own cows from scratch. Oh, then you're getting into running a restaurant, ruining complete strangers' dinners, going, give me those ribs, give me that piece of meat. Then you pull out your fancy pocket sewing kit, you start sewing these pieces of meat together. Now you start stacking one reconstructed cow on top of another. Before you know, you stack the cow so high you can't even see the top one anymore. Jim's bigger than that. Big Jim, bigger than all cattle. Do you know him? No, you can't miss this guy. Is he here yet? Well, you'll recognize him. Sticks and stones might break my bones, but so would an 80-pound carrot, folks! Oh, let's face it. If it weren't for me, these clothes would be in a pile right there.
So yeah, just love him. Anyway, Bob Rubin was one of the comedians that played a New Year's Eve festival. I believe Dave Attell was headlining that. Buddy of mine, he and I used to go see Primus every New Year's Eve here in the Bay Area. And I think in 96, Primus was not playing that New Year's, so we decided to go to this comedy show. I met my now wife a few months after that, and I found out that she was at that show as well. Early on in our dating life, we were talking about concerts and things, and noticed that we had been at a number of the same events, not having met, and so fate finally brought us together. But yeah, that New Year's Eve comedy show was such a blast. So yeah, over the last week, like I mentioned, I've been going down this comedy rabbit hole, looking at some of my old albums. And I remembered a bit from Brian Regan, again, someone who I've seen live and just absolutely adore. Him talking about being stupid in school. This bit started off with him talking about a spelling bee, but the section that I wanted to play was him talking about how to make words plural.
Plurals were hard too. Brian, how do you make a word a plural? You put a S. You put an S at the end of it. When? On weekends and holidays. No, Brian, no, let me show you. So she asked this kid who knew everything, Erwin, what is he plural for ox? Oxen. The farmer used his oxen. Brian, what? Brian, what's the plural for box? Boxen. I bought 2 boxen of donuts. Oh, no, Brian, no. Let's try another one. Erwin, what is he plural for? Goose. Geese. I saw a flock of geese. Brian, what? Brian, what's the plural for? Moose. Moosin. I saw a flock of moosin. There are many of them, much moosin. Out in the woods, in the woodsin. The meat's wanting the food. Food is to eating, is it? The meat's wanting the food and in the wooding in, is it? And the food in the wooding, is it? Brian. You're an imbecile. Imbecilin'. What, are you speaking German, Brian? Jermaine, Jackson 5, Tito. Brian, what the hell are you talking about? I don't know, really.
Love that. My wife and I still say many much moosin'. So funny. But yeah, recently seeing stuff on YouTube and Netflix, and wanted to touch on a few of those. A few years ago, I found Eliza Schlesinger on Netflix and just thought she was absolutely hysterical. The various noises that she makes a really funny goat noise when imitating some women, and some of her other voices making a goblin witchy voice or an overly aggressive voice, and her physical mannerisms up on stage are just absolutely hysterical. Anyway, I had a clip of her making some of the goat noises.
Everyone's freezing because no one brought a jacket. It's so chilly. I'm chilly too. I'm cold. I'm eating grass. I don't know. I have to pee. I don't have solutions, just problems.
Love that. And she does this throughout her routines. That noise just cracks me up every time I hear it. This other clip that I wanted to play was talking about how all girls love fall. Autumn or fall is my favorite time of year, so I guess I would be lumped into that category too, but just love this routine.
All girls are required to love fall. Yeah, we're required. When you apply, when we applied to be girls, went to the girl counter and they hold your girl card up and they go, "What's your favorite season?" And you go, "It's fall, motherfucker." And they're like, "All right. Here's your girl card, here's your Uggs, here's your glitter, go have fun, be insecure." That's what being a girl is. Girls love fall so much. I've been planning this fall since July of like 2 years ago. We fucking get into fall. You don't even have to tell girls when it's fall. We know. Oh, we sense it. All right, we get into it. The second it turns fall, the second a leaf falls somewhere in like Connecticut, we feel it. Sitting at home watching TV, outside the temperature drops from like 86 to 63, we pop out of the ground like gophers. We sense that fall is here. Watching TV, fall comes, we're just like...
Did you feel that? I did. It was a breeze. Fuck yeah, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves,
pumpkin everything! Pumpkin! Eat the pumpkins! Let's plan fall shit. You over your boyfriend, you drag your boyfriend by the teeth. Let's go. We're doing fall shit. We're going apple picking. Babe, there's no apple orchards in Los Angeles. Fine, I'm going to the grocery store. I'm gonna throw apples at children. Something. We go on Pinterest. We start pinning fall ideas. Leaves, that's a fun thing we like to fuck with. Every year the leaves change color and we lose our shit.
Did you see the leaves? Oh my God. Last week they were green and now they're brown.
They're not brown. They're fucking dead, you sicko. They're fucking dead. And you're doing crafts with their corpses. You no respect for nature? That was a living thing, you monster. We talk about it. What are you gonna do with your dead leaves? I'm gonna make a pile on the front lawn so the kids can play in the death. What are you gonna do? With your dead leaves, I'm gonna make a wreath on the front door as a warning to other dead leaves not to fuck with me.
love it. And so many of her other routines are around relationships and sex and stuff. And I didn't quite think those were appropriate for the podcast, but very, very funny. Bo Burnham. Love Bo Burnham. His Netflix show Inside in 2020 during the pandemic was so funny, so disturbing. Couldn't look away, and just the social commentary on that was just mind-blowing.
The world is so fucked up. Systematic oppression, income inequality, the other stuff. And there's only one thing that I can do about it while being paid and being the center of attention. Healing the world with comedy, making a literal difference metaphorically. A Jew walks into a bar and I've saved him a seat. That's healing the world with comedy.
I'm going to play a short clip of Welcome to the Internet. If any of you are familiar with it, I'm not going to play the whole thing, and you know why. But it's such a funny piece, and the social commentary on that, it hits hard. So here's Bo Burnham with Welcome to the Internet.
Welcome to the internet. Have a look around. Anything that brain of yours can think of can be found. We've got mountains of content, some better, some worse. If none of it's of interest to you, you'd be the first. Could I interest you in everything, all of the time? A little bit of everything, all of the time. Apathy's a tragedy and boredom is a crime. Anything and everything, all of the time. Could I interest you in everything, all of the time? A little bit of everything, all of the time. Apathy's a tragedy and boredom is a crime. Anything and everything, all of the time.
I also loved his Kanye rant. It's super long and not able to get into it, but he just goes off on these random things with the auto-tune on his voice and other effects that makes just these random comedy bits sound even funnier.
I'll say it again, the diameter of Pringle cans is way too small. 2 radiuses of a Pringle can is way too small. If you feel me, put your hands up. Come on. If you feel me, put your hands up. Look at all these hands that are way too big to fit inside a Pringle can. Your hands are too big to fit inside a Pringle can. Your hands are too big to fit inside a Pringle can. You think you can? I know you can. You think you can? Pringles, listen to the people. I am sure 90% of the complaint letters you get are about the width of your cans. Just make them wider. I've overdone the Pringles thing. Sorry. I wanna have a daughter. Wanna have a daughter. So I can finally have someone around the house who can fit their hands in a Pringle can. Yes, I'm still on the Pringle cans thing. Yeah. I'll move on, all right? But that is priority numero uno.
His stuff is absolutely amazing. Someone else who I discovered last year on social media I wanted to talk about on the podcast is Lucy Darling, who is actually played by magician/comedian Carissa Hendricks. So I found some Lucy Darling clips while scrolling through Facebook and also on YouTube. Anyway, she does great crowd work, and I love the way it's put here. Lucy Darling is one of Carissa's characters inspired by wisecracking socialite characters from the golden age of Hollywood. So she's got this mid-Atlantic/Long Island accent. It kind of bounces between the two, but very funny. And so I wanted to play some clips of her doing crowd work.
What's your name, my love? Iggy. That's your name? Oh, wow. I've never met a person named Iggy, just iguanas. Iggy, darling, what do you do?
I teach.
You teach? Oh, how delightfully vague. What do you teach?
English.
English, okay. How am I doing? Okay, good. English, oh, that's a fun one. Oh. What do you drink?
Whiskey.
Okay, great. That took a long time for a very simple answer. Seems like you forgot English, which is literally your job. Iggy, are you okay? Okay, great. Do you secretly money launder and Chris is making you nervous? English is just a front. Nobody teaches English. We all speak it. That's dumb. Iggy, who did you come here with? Who is this person?
Taylor, my husband.
Taylor, your husband. Yeah, okay. Someone married you. That's nice. How long have you two been together?
14 years.
14? Were you 12? How is it humanly possible you've been married for 14 years? How old were you two when you got married?
19, 20.
Oh, is it a Mormon kind of thing?
We met at that age.
You met, okay, and you saw this man and went, I'm done. That's for me. Yeah, it's good. You tricked her. Yeah, I know. We all know. You look like a very flamboyant man. Is it Joe, yes?
Yes.
Joe, darling, what do you do?
I do clerical work.
You do clerical work. Clerical work for what?
Church governance.
Wow. Are you drinking?
Yeah.
You would have to, huh? Is that what you dreamed of doing when you were just a boy?
Absolutely.
No, nobody does. Ooh, darling, what's your name?
Jill.
Jill. Oh, like Jack and Jill. Ooh. Jill, darling, what do you do?
Interior designer.
Interior designer. Whoa, like a fun job. Look at that. You could be an interior designer. You have the outfit. What kind of interiors do you design?
Hotels.
Hotels. Okay, that's super fun. Is that very creative? Because I've been to a lot of hotels. They kind of all look the same. So what is the job? You just go, we'll do this one, but in blue. Pretty much. Yeah. Do you find that satisfying?
When it's not blue.
When it's not blue. Okay, yeah. What a thrilling front row we have. I can see why you've decided to come here and pay for laughter.
Just love this. But I also wanted to play another set of clips of one of her catchphrase, oh no's. So whenever she says, oh no, she's got a certain way of saying it that a lot of people started imitating. And so you'll kind of hear the progression.
Oh no, poor Jim. Oh no. Poor, you know what? But it's probably my fault. You didn't have anything to work for, nothing at risk. So how about we play again, yes? Oh, it seems to just be like a, oh no, oh no, oh no. Help. Oh no. Oh no, it's all the way over here now, Chris. Oh no. I feel so bad to ruin this. Oh no.
So funny. So whenever I say oh no, that immediately goes into my head. Anyway, I just really love her comedy, and I am so bummed. She played in the Bay Area a couple of times recently, and the tickets were a little bit too expensive for me to go to, but I'm hoping sometime I can catch an entire live performance. And the last one that I wanted to play here was Taylor Tomlinson. I had found her stuff before she got the gig at After Midnight. Loved that show. It brought comedians on doing a lot of improv stuff in the form of a game show and tagging lines and stuff. It was so fun. And so, yeah, I had two clips from her that I wanted to play. First one about her going to therapy.
I got back into therapy. Anybody in therapy? Mostly women. That's the problem. It's very hard to stay in therapy. My old therapist told me that when I get close to people, I have a tendency to self-sabotage, and I thought that was bullshit, so I ghosted her. And then I finally went back because I finally dated enough people who all gave me the exact same feedback about my shitty personality. You know that romantic quota you hit where you're like, uh-oh, might be me. Oh, the reviews are in and they are unanimous. That's a bummer. So after a really bad breakup a few years ago, I finally took a long, hard look at myself and said, okay, Taylor, 5 out of 5 dudes all think that in fights, you behave like a raccoon trapped in a trash bag. So maybe it's time to get some Klonopin or a rabies shot.
Love that. And the second one, being that this is going to air right before Father's Day, I thought it very timely. So here is another clip of Taylor Tomlinson.
You guys tried to buy greeting cards for your family as adults? Can't do that anymore. Too much has happened. And Hallmark can't cover it. When you're a kid, you run into CVS on Father's Day like, you're the best dad in the whole world. I'm done. As an adult, you walk down that aisle just like, you've always been there for me. Nope. Thank you for accepting me exactly as I... Okay, try again. I couldn't have asked for a better... You know what? Screw this. Excuse me, do you guys have any that just say, you are my dad? How about you screwed my mom? You got any of those? I'll get a blank one. It's fine. All right. You are a father. This is a day. Here is a card. Nailed it.
So fun. And yeah, I've just gone down this rabbit hole of comedy over the past week and trying to figure out what I could play here on the podcast and what I couldn't. It was a lot to take in. There was just so many choices, and we'll see what I put in this episode in post-production. But anyway, I thought I would do something a little bit different. So with that, I'm going to close out this episode. If you did want to leave feedback for the podcast, if you have any songs that are part of your recovery process that you want to play here on the podcast, you can reach us at feedback@sexaddictsrecoverypod.com. And if you wanted to reach me personally, if you had any questions about the program or the podcast, to be a guest on the podcast, you can reach me at jason@sexaddictsrecoverypod.com. I've had just a ton of people asking to be guests on the podcast, and I've scheduled quite a few and still have a few more that I need to see if I can fit in here or there, but a lot of episodes coming up. Noting that next weekend is Father's Day and my birthday, and I'm going to a concert that weekend as well. I'm not sure how much time I'll have to edit the next episode, so that may be a couple of weeks out. But with that, I am so thankful for you tuning into this episode. And as always, keep coming back. The views and opinions contained in the Sex Addicts Recovery Podcast are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of the Bay Area Intergroup or the ISO of SAA.